We are live from Sales HQ. I'm your host, Vince Beasy, and the founder at Sales HQ. And this is our third live podcast. And I'm very excited about our guest and also a fellow member here at Sales HQ. And you'll hear from him soon enough. But first, many of you folks out there probably don't know what Sales HQ. Well, we're a one-of-a-kind co-selling community for high-performing sellers and sales teams. And what does that actually mean? So we offer a space that has flex options for offices, for desks, but more importantly, we're providing a community for folks that are doing sales as a profession, mostly folks that are remote, to come in here, feel the energy, collaborate with others, network with others, and learn from each other. We're truly building a community here at Sales HQ. And for more information, to check us out and come here for a tour or spend the day with us, go to saleshq.co. Well, before we get to our guest, one other thank you I want to do is for RevGen. RevGen is a premier B2B outbound sales machine. What does that mean? Well, if you need appointments, if you need meetings to be created, RevGen can help you with that. And more importantly, today, they're offering a special on their online training program. And if you see in the ticker in a minute, we'll put the URL and the code to put in there, Sales HQ, and you're going to get a discount. And for only $200 a year, you're going to get a full training course. And any of you have taken training before, $200 for a year is a great deal. $200 a month, high. $200 for a year is awesome. So check that out. We'll have it in the ticker here in a little bit for you guys. Matter of fact, I think we can do that right now. There we go. And without further ado, he's the man. He's a legend. What do they call him? The man with the mic. My guest today is Larry Long Jr. I think, what are you, a 3X Salesforce top 3 or 4? 4X, would you sneak that one in? 4X Salesforce top sales influencer, LinkedIn top influencer, chief energy officer, his own title he made up, by the way. And more importantly, good guy, but terp. Larry, welcome to the show, man.
Oh, hold up. Can you hear me now? Come on, Vince. You knew something was up because I was being so quiet. I am the man with the microphone. Actually, let's call that plural, microphones. Happy to be here with you. Let's go Terps.
Let's go Terps. So, Larry, believe it or not, there might be somebody out there, somebody that doesn't know who Larry Long is.
Oh, wow.
Tell us a little bit about your story, man.
Oh, goodness.
Who is Larry Long?
Larry Long Jr., CEO, Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises. I know that your audience won't believe this, but in elementary, middle, and high school, I used to get sent to detention for talking. Now I get paid to speak. I get paid to serve. I have the honor and privilege of working with a lot of sales teams, helping the sellers and sales leaders take their game to the next level.
And you were at a number of prominent technology companies. It seems like you were at every company that was scaling tremendously.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate.
Pink company, an orange company.
Teamworks. I've been everywhere. Channel advisor. I started off my career
right.
making 150 cold calls a day at SageWorks. We had an exit there. And since then, I've been almost everywhere in the triangle. You name it. It's been a fun journey, a fun adventure, a little bit of misadventure mixed in, but we're still standing.
The bottom line is any company that Larry worked for, go work for that company because it's doing really well. But I think you found your calling, my man. And I want to get into one of these topics you talk about all the time. It's something I think it's missing out there right now. Coaching. Yeah. Coaching up reps, coaching for yourself. Like, everybody needs a coach. You need a coach for life. You need a coach for sales. You need a coach. And I find that some people out there are expecting maybe coaching to happen from the manager, which is not a wrong expectation. I just don't see it. So let's get into this topic and explore a little bit more the importance of coaching.
Oh, goodness. It's one of those things where if you want to be your best, you've got to have a coach. And if you think back to team sports, even individual sports, the best in the business, not even sports, but life, they have coaches. They have folks that are there to encourage them. Hercules, cheer them on, hold them accountable, and really get more out of them than they could get by themselves. Now, I'm on brand, Vince. I mean, come on now. I don't want to have a wardrobe malfunction, but yeah, I am a coach. And I just need to ask the people out there, who's your coach? Yeah. Who's helping you get the most? It's kind of like if you go to the gym and you do bench press. If you do it all by yourself, chances are you're going to be a little bit conservative. You might have 45 plates on each side. But if you have someone spotting you, you have a coach that's encouraging you, let's go. You're now able to throw 315 pounds. I see you, Vince.
I don't know about that. Maybe 115.
Close enough.
But so I'm curious, your personal experience, besides sports, when was the first time you recognized the fact that you needed a coach?
Yeah, it was, let's rewind 4 years ago when I was starting my business. And there's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, mount up. So I invested in myself, because when you have skin in the game, it's somewhat magical how you get a lot out of it. And it's just like life. You get out of it what you put into it. So my experience with coaching has been absolutely amazing. I'm heading to Dubai next week. Who would have thunk it? Come on now.
Very long in Dubai or no?
I'm speaking.
Is Dubai ready?
Nah, they ain't ready for me. I don't know if I'm ready for Dubai. I hope I make it back in one piece. But essentially, if you want to be the best that you can be, I've yet to see anyone do that all by themselves.
Yep. And so 4 years ago, you started that journey with the coach. You still with that coach?
Different coach, same program. Okay. Novus Global.
And what do you get out of it? Like, what's the big takeaways for you?
It's really getting out of my own head.
Yeah.
Different perspectives, accountability buddy, and just someone that's there that, I mean, my wife loves me. My mom loves me. They got to encourage me. My coach actually sees my true potential and says, hey, Larry, I hear what you're saying. And my coach shared with me, this was when I was working with Kristen Frade. She said, Larry, you're so positive and uplifting with everyone else. But when you start talking about yourself, you're a negative Nancy, negative Nelly, negative Ned. You pretty much, you beat yourself up and it's not serving you. And then she dug in. She said, why is that? And we talked about my relationship with failure, my relationship with trying things that are new and not wanting to fail. And it's a constant work in progress where I'm trying to overcome that hump of getting out of my own way.
So I'll share a story with you. Last September, when I was thinking about what I want to do next, I revisited this idea of Sales HQ, but I really didn't have, the courage to pull through. So I got introduced to this executive coach, and he really forced me to do it. He listened to me, the passion I had about it, the idea, the research I did. So he wasn't just saying you should do it. He was listening for all the right things, and I kept saying all the right things and was doing the right things. And he's like, well, what are you waiting for? And for me, it was fear. What if I fail? What if this doesn't? He goes, all you think about is you're thinking about all the things that might not happen. What about the things that could happen? I want you to start visualizing a year from now. What does that look like? And then once I got into the mode of putting you're always going to have doubt. Once I start putting the doubt to the side and started thinking about the outcomes and why I want to do it, that's when the game changed for me.
And I love to hear that. You talk about a great thing called vision.
Yeah.
And having a coach that allows you to explore a great vision that you never even imagined. And for my sales professionals out there, we all have numbers. The company gives us numbers. That's all well and good, but we didn't come this far to come this far. We want to be great. I would imagine if you're tuning in right now, you don't want to be good. You want to be great. You want to be the best that you can be. Well, I challenge you to take your current goals and dream even bigger. Have a bigger vision. Find those people that can support you along the way, and you can do it. It's been shown that you can actually do more than you're doing today with the help of others.
And I'm not going to give a selfish plug for Sales HQ, but I am. Part of the reason why I created this place is that we can lean on each other. I'm in a row. You know this for a fact. I sit in a row with 1, 2, 3, 4 other people. We don't work together. We're different age groups. We work at different companies. We do different things. We're different. Everything's different. You know what's the same? We're all in sales. We're all in this battle of everyday highs and lows. And hearing people on the calls and collaborating after a call, like, used to be in the old days, you go into the break room. You go, I had the worst call or I had the best call. We're missing that. Everyone's 100% remote. So for those of you out there that are isolated, you're remote, you got to do a couple things. Either your manager is your coach and you're getting the support from them, or your colleagues are there to support you, or you need to find a community to be part of, because it's so healthy and invigorating. It'll be a huge relief for you out there. So find your group of people that you can rely on. Not just your manager, by the way. It's got to be beyond that, because you got to get people's an objective third party kind of view on it, right?
Outside perspective. And I love what you said. Find your tribe. I think one of your past guests, Cynthia Barnes, I'm a part of her hype squad. We actually have quarterly meetings where we check on each other and we support each other with what we are trying to do. And we get vulnerable in terms of these are my goals that I'm going after. And yes, I've got FUD, not Elmer FUD, but fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
We all do.
And we're human, fight or flight. But I'm going to take that FUD. I'm going to take those fears. I'm going to take those doubts, and I'm going to work my way right through it. Actually, hold up. I am going to knock them out. I almost said knock you out. I got plenty of props.
So I imagine you're probably involved in a number of different groups. How many different groups you part of?
It's too many to count. Community,
but these
is
are
everything.
all right. These are all things that support you. You're supporting them, right?
Yeah, masterminds, coaching, mentorship. I have mentors and many mentors, and then I also mentor folks as well. And there's just power in community. But the biggest thing, and I tell this to everyone, we have tons of information out there. You can go right to Google, you can go to Chat GPT and find all you want. That's not the problem. The biggest problem is you taking action. So on your mark, get set, go.
That's right. That's right. Find somebody to help. Mentorship is a big one. I don't know about you. When I was younger, I sought out people that knew a lot more than me, had a lot more experience. And quite frankly, I find it's a compliment when someone comes to you and say, would you mind mentoring me, right? It's the ultimate compliment, right? Because they trust you, they believe in you, they believe you can help you.
Big time, and I believe it's our responsibility. I've yet to meet a successful person that did it all by themselves. It's your responsibility, all of our responsibilities, to help those that need assistance and those that might even be too shy to come asking. And hold up, who's at the door? Opportunity is knocking at each and every one of our doors. Let's get out there and seize that opportunity. Carpe diem. All
right, so I think we crushed that topic. Find a mentor, find a coach, find a community, get out there, set higher goals. Let's go, right? Yeah. Don't wait another day. Another thing people should be doing out there. There's this thing called LinkedIn. Have you heard of this thing?
LinkedIn? What's that? I was just talking with the good old Patrick over there. What's LinkedIn? Got him.
It's this new up and coming platform I heard for businesses, and I've heard people are using it to actually build their own personal brands. You started this journey not that long ago and you got it to a certain point. Talk to our audience out here, specifically sellers and sales leaders. Like, what's the importance of LinkedIn and what should they be focusing on?
I'm gonna keep it real. If your prospects and clients are on LinkedIn, then you need to be there as well, and not just be there, not just be a lurker, but be active in the community. And that's what it is. I look at it as a sandbox. It's the biggest professional sandbox that's out there. And I have a lot of fun in the sandbox because, once again, I'm creating community. I'm creating collaboration. I'm able to help and serve people. And I'm also able to find business opportunities that are knocking at the door, people that I can serve and have an impact and in return make income. Who doesn't smile and whose ears don't smile when you can make income while you're impacting others?
Right. So let's talk about some tangible things people can do. First of all, for those of you out there, and don't get me wrong, no disrespect. If you got a picture on LinkedIn that's you with your arm around somebody and the other person's cut off, do me a favor today. Just take a selfie and take that picture out and professionalize your photograph on LinkedIn. I have this weird rule. I won't, if someone sends me an invite, they don't have a picture. I just, sorry.
They don't exist.
There's something hiding there, right? And you can't hide on LinkedIn. So that's just an easy one. But that level of granularity, what else should people be doing about their profiles and on LinkedIn?
So you said it, essentially your profile, and I would say the primetime real estate, your banner. Right. Does your banner represent what you're all about? Does it have small text? I hope not. Hopefully it has images that represent you and what you're about. Your headshot, is it professional? Your the area that's right after your name, that's primetime real estate, the About Us section. Now we can get into more. Once we get that baseline foundation, now we got to get into the conversation. So I strongly encourage you to post your own thought leadership, but I understand that can be scary. If you don't post your own, get out there and get into the conversation of other people that are posting with thoughtful comments. Now, when you comment, you start to get in the mix of that playground, and you should be making connections on how can I serve you? Always be looking for opportunities to serve, opportunities to help, opportunities to connect other people. Now you can leverage the community. Recommendations. I don't know about you. Some people look at recommendations on Amazon, eBay, restaurants. Others don't. But I can tell you my 268, who's counting, recommendations are an asset. Because in my business, people say, hey, I can find a speaker anywhere. Why should I come to you, Larry Long Jr.? Well, I don't know. I'm biased. I work for the company. It's me, myself, and I got 3 employees. But look at the 268 recommendations on LinkedIn. And then you tell me, should we be working together? You had the same opportunity if you ask folks that you've worked with before, folks that you serve with, your current clients, people that are familiar with you and are willing to support you. You got to make that big ask.
Yeah, it's interesting. You talk about recommend. 2 things used to be really big on LinkedIn, which was the skills, right? And the recommendations. I'll tell you, I personally stopped asking for recommendations, and people haven't asked me for recommendations, and that the skill thing just disappeared.
Skills are still there, but they're buried at the bottom.
Well, yeah.
But essentially, if you build them up, you can now direct people there. And if you're active on LinkedIn, if you're engaging with people on LinkedIn, you're creating your own content, your own thought leadership, and you're engaging with others, giving your point of view, you're going to find your tribe. I'm sure you can imagine that as the chief energy officer, I'm not for everybody. There are some people out there right now rolling their eyes saying, oh my goodness, who does he think he is? All this energy, he's so happy. It's all good. I'm not for you. But for those that I am for, let's roll.
Is there really anybody out there that's not for Larry Long Jr.? Come on. I don't think so. People out on the floor might be like, who is that guy so goddamn loud? But yeah, I think you're making an important point about building your brand, and you don't have to post. You can go follow the people that you find influencers or your prospects or your customers, read their posts and put thoughtful comments. Isn't that?
That's it. And you can also spotlight them. I would encourage anyone that's out there, get out of your comfort zone. I mean, I hate to get deep, but I will. The biggest dreams lie in the graveyard. Because people noodle. There's someone right now that's noodling on that idea. Forget about noodling. Just do it. Yeah. So I encourage you to post. I got to give props to Morgan J. Ingram. It was April of 2020 in the pandemic. He said, Larry, you got to get on video. I said, nah, I got the face for radio. They're all going to laugh at me. He said, dude, they're already laughing at you. The face for radio, I can't help you. But he said, hey, I'm going to tell you what my mentor told me. If you don't do it, you're being selfish. If you keep your point of view, your perspective to yourself, and you don't share it with the world, you are being selfish. Shame on you, because someone out there can benefit from your point of view. Someone out there can benefit from your story, your experience, your adventure, and your misadventure. And if you keep it to yourself, shame, shame, shame.
That's a good point. And I find there's a couple of people I follow that are individual contributors, which is a phenomenal role in occupation. And some of those folks are putting the best content out there. Yeah. And they probably had that same thing. Well, I'm not an influencer, I'm not a salesperson. But to your point, who cares? You got a point of view. That's right. Share your point of view. And most people's point of view tend to be unique. You'll find your audience, or your audience will find you, right? That's right. That's ultimately what happens.
Put it out there. You got to give it a try. And I would encourage you, be consistent. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight. I know folks get discouraged. Oh, I try. It's like going to the gym and saying, oh, where are my 6-pack abs? Talk to me after you've gone to the gym 5 days a week for 6 straight months, and then we'll probably look at your diet. But if you try it, I think you'll see some results.
So one of the things about LinkedIn I think people all should know is that it's a vehicle for expanding your network. And it used to be like, oh, you should only invite people that you know. But it's just like, you really need to expand your community, your network. What are some tricks and some things about expanding your network?
All right. So Vince, you hosted an event here. And I view LinkedIn as this physical space. Yep. If I went to the event and I said, I'm only going to talk to people that I know, I would be limiting myself. So if you go to LinkedIn and say, I'm only going to interact with people I know, survey says, I would encourage you to expand your horizons, your perspective. I know that I'm in software sales, but I also learn from people that are in other industries with unique points of view. Kevin Dorsey just put out a post. He said, SaaS sales thinks their stuff don't stink. They think that they're the end all be all when there's other industries out there. We were just talking about it. Construction, healthcare, manufacturing. I mean, there's tons of industries that we can all learn. We can all grow from, but it's like a muscle. You got to get out there. And I'm no Allen Iverson, but we're talking about practice. You got to practice in order to get better at it.
So you speak to a lot of people. I know that because I hear you. What are other things you're hearing of challenges for salespeople today in the marketplace? Top ones you hear constantly, repetitive, over and over again.
Well, this is never pipeline.
Mhm.
Top of pipe. How do I fill the funnel? It's getting tougher to engage with people, especially if you're doing the same tired things that you're doing before. Picking up the phone and that's all you do. Sending lame emails. What I encourage is a multi-threaded approach. And if it ain't broke, you got to break it. You got to shake it. What are you doing to differentiate yourself? Because we're in a sea of black boxes. There's a lot of sameness out there. What makes you stand out in a good way? And are you able to communicate that? You might know it in your head. You might have the best marketing, but if I can't feel you and your heart, and I don't believe and trust you with what you say, survey says, are you getting those recommendations? Do you have those proof points of when you've added value so that folks say, you know what, I'll give you a chance. Tell me more. Because it's so easy to say, you know what, click.
Here's a topic I hear all the time. I don't know your thoughts on it because we haven't talked about this, but there's 3 types of salespeople out there right now.
All right.
Displaced. They just lost their jobs for whatever reason. They're employed, not happy. Yeah. And then the third bucket, which is employed and happy. Yeah. Probably 75% of the sellers I speak to today are not happy, employed, and displaced.
It's tough.
So if you're in a job and it's not perfect right now, is there any, I mean, we've all been there before. Is there any advice you have for people?
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Coaching, mentorship, vision. I would encourage you to slow down and map out. That means document. Where do you want to go? Right now, it's what, May? We're May 2024.
Almost halfway through.
Yeah, on December 31st of 2024, where do you want to be? How do you get there? Let's do a work back plan. How do you get to where you want to be? Who do you need in your corner? Who are those connections? Who are those relationships? What are those actions that you need to take every single day to get you there? I'll give you an action that's a game changer. And I tell this to almost every audience I speak to. I can count on pretty much 2 hands how many people actually do it. It's called the 3-minute challenge. We know that relationships are important. Everyone out there, oh, of course, Larry, relationships. Yeah. What are you doing to build and grow your existing relationships? 3-minute challenge every day, every weekday. Go into your Rolodex. I know some of y'all are like, Rolodex? What's that? Is that the fancy watch? No, that's a Rolex. Go into your contact list in your phone. Find one person that you haven't been in touch with. It could be 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades if you're old enough. And all I want you to do is surprise and delight them. If you were my surprise and delight, I'd go to Google. I would find a funny Terps GIF. I would send it to you and I would say, hey, wonderful Wednesday, Vince. Let's make it a Terp day. I'm not asking you for anything, but I'm doing something to let you know that I see you, I feel you, and I'm here for you. I'm making a deposit into the relationship.
I like that.
Because what happens is, and some of y'all can relate, we try to make withdrawals from relationships and the bank is empty. I've been to Bank of America before, tried to take out money, and they said, sorry, Larry Long Jr., you haven't made enough deposits. Why do we do that with our relationships? 3-minute challenge. Will you do it? I certainly hope so. It'll separate you. It'll impact a lot of lives. It'll impact your life.
I like that.
Guaranteed.
I like that. And there's this thing called, to piggyback on it, Dunlop's theory. Have you heard of this?
No.
Dunlop's theory is, I'm going to bastardize it, but I'll try to get it as best I can. He says that there's about 100 people that are in your life that you can truly have a meaningful relationship with. And as you add 101, someone falls out of that. And so when I heard that and I was reading about that, I was like, well, you know, I care about all 100, but it's that ring of like up to 20, 25. Now, question people out there, are you really staying in touch with the people you call your good friends and your good relationships? And to your point, a surprise text, phone call, all that stuff picks these people up. And it's kind of selfish too, because it's fun to make people feel good, right?
It is. And I can tell you that you're going to impact a lot of people. Life, this 4-letter word we call life is tough.
Yeah, it is.
You never know what someone's going through. By doing that little thing, it really is a big thing to them, because it's like, wow, you thought about me on a random May the 8th. Yeah. You thought about me and took the time to send me something that was thoughtful. You didn't ask me for anything. It is very powerful. Give it a try.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. There's a lot of mental health issues and challenges and high anxiety out there. So it's the best thing you can do. I'm going to pause for a second to see if there's any questions in the audience that anyone might have.
The live studio audience.
Oh.
Okay, come on now. That's what I'm talking about, Willis.
Name, sir.
Hey, Larry, this is Connor Hoy here. I have a question. You're always so positive, and
You
I mean,
are.
it's just amazing. What advice do you have for people how to stay positive in rough and hard times?
Yeah, I mean, winter time's not rough and hard. And I would encourage you. I mean, for me, it's my family. It's my father's legacy. I lost my dad almost 9 years ago. We all have a choice. When I wake up, believe you me, there's stuff that goes on in my life that I could cry every day about. But I make a choice that, and I'll give you this example. A good buddy of mine, he works for Wally World, works for Walmart, Jamie Babb, one of my sales reps. He said, Larry, what I'd like to do is through anything good or bad, I try to look for the good, the great, and the wonderful. So a colleague of mine, what's up, MB, lost her job. She called me yesterday, and I said, hey, when a door closes, normally a window of opportunity opens up. But that's a unique perspective. I've been fired before, and it's easy to look at that door that closed and say, oh, woe is me. Well, changing your perspective to say, you know what? And my mentor, I love what he says, Dr. Willie Jolly. He says a setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback. So it's all about that perspective. Your mind is powerful. I used to play baseball at University of Maryland when I used to go up and say, don't strike out, don't strike out, don't strike out. What do you think happened to me, Connor? Yeah, I struck out. So essentially that perspective, if you look at it and say, hey, this is no fun getting laid off, but I know that this is an opportunity that's knocking for me to find that best fit, it works wonders. But it's a choice, and it's a intentional choice that you have to make each and every day. It's kind of like your vitamins, brushing your teeth. You got to do it daily. And having those people around you, having your hype squad, your A team, your coaches, your mentors, your family, your friends, your community makes it so much easier, which is why I love coming here to feel the energy at Sales HQ. There's nothing like it. You can't get it when you're at home. At least I can't get it. When I'm at home in my home office and it's just me and my 3 employees, me, myself, and I'm missing that community and that collaboration.
We have another question from the audience. Uh-oh. Boom.
Hey, Vince. Hey, Larry. Michael here. Question for you. So talk about us guys with gray hair, right? The guys that have been through it a little bit.
Right.
And going from, transitioning in where you've been your own self-employed guy before, maybe you've gone through an acquisition and now you've come back out into life and looking in a world that we live in today. What's some advice you give someone maybe that's in that mid stage, a late stage of their career, and really some opportunities and ways to go about looking at really what next step looks like?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oops. Oh, let me get this straight.
I'll hit my perspective. I would say always be learning, always be growing.
Yeah.
So I'm part of a professional speaker community, and we have a young lady who's experienced. She's 30, 40 plus years in this industry, Dr. Lenora Billings Harris. And she comes to our events, even though she could probably teach every single event that we have. And I asked her, I said, Lenora, why do you come to these events? She said, I'm always looking for a new perspective so that I can grow, because things are changing. If you are still in the same mindset of what even a year ago, but let's say things are changing at such a rapid speed, I would say have the mindset. It's a growth and an action mindset of, you know what? I'm going to learn something new each and every day from somewhere, somehow.
Yeah, I'll give you an example, Michael. Like I was going to do this podcast, and I hadn't done a podcast in like 2.5 years. Technology's changed. So I reached out to people that are professionals, but then I took the leap and like, you're not seeing it, but there's all this equipment here that I had to set up. So I had to learn the stuff. Scary as hell. But like what I learned at an advanced stage is you can't be afraid, right? You just got to sometimes just go with your vision, go with your heart's telling you, and take a leap because,
Or you can be afraid and fight through it. I mean, that's the great thing about it is you can take that fear and say, you know what?
Right.
I am scared of the unknown. Right now, I'm noodling on doing a video series, a 48-week video series, and the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the negative self-talk is coming into my mind.
Right?
Yeah, but it's like I'm going to take that and I'm going to overcome it.
All right, last question for you, Larry. This is a serious question. I want you to really think about this.
All right, I'm ready.
I want you to really think deep about this. What's one thing about Larry Long Jr. that most people don't know that's interesting about you?
Oh man,
Most people don't know. I don't mean your wife or your children. Like most people don't know about you.
oh goodness, not many people know that I'm a reality TV junkie. Actually, I submitted. I don't know if y'all remember. I'm dating myself now. I submitted a video to join the Real World. It would have been the
Oh,
Real World back in Vegas, and they said,
yes.
"Nah, I wasn't crazy enough.
Well,
I didn't have enough drama." But I love reality TV.
that's your thing, huh?
I love when I'm at the gym. I'm watching Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm watching the boat, the below deck. Oh, I love. I eat it up.
I have to say, I like that. I don't find it that surprising. I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? If you told me like you only ate salads and that's the only food you
Shoot,
eat,
you can tell that ain't true. I need
Larry,
to mix in a salad.
this has been incredible, man.
I appreciate
Thank you for coming on the show. For all you out there, we enjoyed it. Until next time. Peace.